Hi, my name is Mike Zuckerman, and our webinar for this week is Automating Data Governance. We'll cover Queplix just briefly, your host, and then share a little bit about our agenda. Queplix is a leader in data integration and data management. We provide all the components you would expect to drive business intelligence, help you load your data warehouse, and integrate two or more applications. Could be as simple as integrating Salesforce and NetSuite, or as complex as building out your vision for virtual master data management. To make this happen, we provide all the components of data quality and governance that you would expect, and we bring unique technology to the solution for you with advanced data virtualization, also known as enterprise data virtualization. Our system is business user ready, no programming is required, and we present one continuum, one platform. If you're using the cloud today, or you expect to use it tomorrow, chances are from the major vendors you have a discontinuous set of tools. Their on-premise solutions don't map to their cloud solutions. We have one continuous set with the same code base that will work for you, whether you're on cloud today or not, or whether you're on premise, and whenever you choose to make the transition. The problem we solve, and really the segue to automating data governance, is really looking at the world where all this data resides, all these different applications, and bridging these applications. That's what we do. On the lower right, you see your legacy enterprise, where we have many, many critical applications deployed. Custom applications may be the bulk of what you have. Applications in the cloud, a new world promoted by Salesforce and many other vendors, NetSuite, Eloqua right now, and just so many more, we can't list them all. And then an emerging world of NoSQL, alternates to relational databases that are compelling for their value in handling scale or handling different data types or mapping to web-based applications. And these are now becoming compelling for users, and we also support them in this one integration framework and dashboard. And this integration framework and dashboard needs all the components of data governance, and we've brought ways to market to automate these components. So today we're going to look at the business problem and sponsorship roadmap, how you're going to present charter and authority to make this work, why you need to understand data dictionaries and how they can provide benefit to you, measurement and milestones, bring in data quality. No project for data integration or BI or data warehousing or data governance will work without good data quality. It is not something separate. It is core and central and should be integrated every step of the way. And finally, introduce virtual master data management, which is a new, better way of implementing a broad-scale approach to master data if you're a large enterprise. All of these products work tremendously well for the smallest enterprise, scaled up to the largest global enterprise. So first, we have to look at the data environment that you have today and give a sense of how big and how wide is data governance and how difficult is it to automate. There are many, many types of data, both structured and unstructured, that are covered by compliance needs. Compliance needs may be for business process where you've decided these are the rules of data governance, or to support the adherence to a regulatory environment, such as Sarbanes-Oxley in the US, in Japan, the JSOX laws, or in Europe, there's a Sarbanes-Oxley equivalent set of legislation. This legislative environment is important, must be respected, and provides key milestones for you in understanding how you're going to drive data governance forward. Data governance has a lot of significant benefits. It can drive revenue higher, it can lower your cost, it can increase your margins and substantially reduce your risk. You need to ultimately see operating procedures that protect your information for regulatory compliance and competitive reasons, and these operating procedures you have internally set the framework for what you do with data governance. It gives you a consistent view of your business, a better view of your business, the most essential rule being know thy customer. Why is data governance so difficult? Well, different isn't better, different is different. You have to change human behavior. You're setting policy. Well, what exactly are you doing? This is about people. There are organizational barriers. The politics of a lot of very large corporations make it difficult sometimes to stand tall to say, look, if we don't do it this way, we'll have havoc. So organizations have a tremendously difficult time where often mid to senior level managers are struggling with a problem that affects the enterprise, And the other problems that affect the enterprise are getting attention, like our profitability, our revenue. And so this kind of issue, which has all the thorny burdens associated with negotiating something enterprise-wide, doesn't appear to have the return on investment and hence doesn't get the attention because it's so difficult. And it's just not the case. It has the return on investment and it deserves the attention. It's also difficult because information systems that support the process usually don't exist. There is no automation. It's incomplete. There's gap management with people and processes. You need to know about metadata and system structures because you are dealing with your data. And to the extent that master data management exists, which it exists in the big, large companies, it's legacy. It's hand-built. It's got lots of pipes, plumbing applications together. It's very difficult to implement, and it's very difficult to maintain. Sponsorship is another issue, right? You've got to find your sponsors. There could be reasons like, for insurance, improving your ability to cross-sell on products. There's too many separate silos of information processing. And for retail, being able to tie different marketing components together, and on and on and on. You have to understand where your ROI is and how to best drive your internal sponsorship. For ERP systems, data integration is just a huge deal, right? You've got a lot of disparate pipes running into your ERP system, and that's part of the problem. And you're trying to understand where all the systems of records come and go and where the best data should be. With BI, it's even worse because you're producing snapshots in time, and you're producing snapshots in time that may be burdened by bad data quality, tons of data integration problems, and certainly on a good day, reporting redundancy. So all of this is flying around, making it difficult for you to say, wait a minute, here's the rules that we need to play by, and here are the sources of truth and the processes that govern them. So step one is you've got to put a team in place and get a charter. You've got to find owners, and you need to have support from senior executive management and all the line of businesses that you think will participate. Working sessions are part of this, regular reporting, and the eye on the prize has got to be ROI management and measurement. If you can't produce the ROI, the only other difficult problems like this are about the top line and the bottom line for the company, and they will consume all the attention because for that level of return on investment, people will perceive the political risk as mandatory. But for something like data governance, where you have not spelled out the ROI and the business benefits, people just won't put it on their agenda item as important. In the final analysis, responsibility requires authority. The data governance team must have the authority to execute the policies they put in place, and automation is part of the way that you make that work. Measurement and assessment is key. You need to understand the state of the process. It needs to be documented, it needs to be proceduralized, it needs to be measured, and then the constant need for process improvement is everlasting. Without measuring the state and constantly seeking to improve it, you're going to go the other way. Without measurement, in fact, metrics will fail and return back to earlier states or regress even further. So business process is key. You don't need to be an elephant to make this work. Many organizations have found benefit in data governance. Certainly global enterprise, billion-dollar companies get this completely, and they're struggling with it tremendously. But $5 million, $50 million companies, $100 million companies can all benefit. We had a simple case for a $10 million company, Co-Raid, where their data governance required alignment between Salesforce and NetSuite, and their processes required that they correct the records of truth with data from Dun & Bradstreet when information was flowing into the ERP system, and they had to put some simple data governance rules around this to make sure that these things work. The benefit to them was more accurate data, and they could see a return on investment to their operating processes, even as a company with revenue under $100 million. So the size of the organization is virtually unimportant. What's important is your commitment to looking at the ROI and understanding how data governance can benefit you, and then finding ways to automate it so that you can optimize that ROI. Manual processes can produce ROI, but automated processes can generally produce more ROI quicker, and that's the bottom line. Data quality is always a visible problem. Everyone knows they have it. And data quality becomes the tip of the whip for many of the benefits that you'll find as you assess your data. It's everywhere, and it affects everything you try to do, from analytics to business intelligence to data warehousing, just to moving data from Salesforce, perhaps, and booking an order into your NetSuite or SAP system. It's always an issue. The road to awareness, the path to awareness, as I would say, is, build a process and timeline to take the organization from current state to remediate those things that help you automate data quality and get to future states in small steps so you can claim victory along the way. Return on investment remains key, and you don't need to boil the ocean. You can do pilots that will demonstrate clearly to your sponsors, to the executive staff, that you're on the way, and that's what you need to get moving. Authority and charter we talked about, right? The notion that, if you do not have authority, what is the point of having the charter? You've got to have business sponsorship at the executive level. In a smaller company, you may be the manager or director and you need to own it. And you need to interact and reinforce it. Things like data governance fell off the charts at the end of 2008 because everybody was worried about revenue and profits and business with the stock market debacle. And the fact is that when you drive return on investment, you are as important to that company as any other operating component, or even the top line, because in a market where top line is stalled a little bit, being able to shave out profit and efficiency from the business you have is even more important. So data stewards and data owners should stand tall and feel proud about the benefits that they implement with data governance. They need to exist even in small organizations. You need to find people that can support you and implement these processes. And usually in a smaller organization, the data steward is the data owner and coordinates with a couple other people to understand what the data governance needs to be and to show the return on investment. These are things that all the executive staff will appreciate and for which you'll find good business benefit. Part of making this work is speaking a common language. To understand data governance, you have to be able to correlate different components of the data, the fields and columns and rows, whether you're using relational databases or object databases or whatever you have, APIs to cloud apps like Salesforce. You need to reconcile customers and accounts. Is an opportunity a customer? A good example is moving between Salesforce and NetSuite. Very simple, but one paradigm is customer, the other paradigm is account, and it's different. So you're going to need to understand these semantics, and you're going to need to find alignment, and you're going to need to understand the magic world of metadata, because metadata is the data about all of your data. It is the names for these different fields in your data, and then you have to find a way to map all of this semantics together, that my primary customer billing address in this system, even though it's called something here that's cryptic, is the same as my primary customer billing address in this system, and I know how to relate them together and use them. Boy, that's the beginning of a powerful strategy for data governance. So you're in the vendor domain not only for consulting, but for their software products. You need to understand where they store the data and how they store it. That's part of how a data dictionary brings that semantics and metadata together for you. We have a completely automated capability to expose all of the data, and because we have a persistent metadata server, maintain all of those connections to the data, maintain visibility to the semantics, the metadata, let you go into the data catalog at any step, and then flow that into any integration or quality process right from there. No other vendor can do that. Everyone's got bits and pieces and modules they want you to move from one to the other. We have a completely integrated system, and this is the benefit of advanced data virtualization. And it's a unique capability, and you should ask to see this and see a demonstration of how we bring this together. You can target domains and break up various pieces. You need to pick a beachhead. It could be a geo, it could be a vertical. If you're a big company, you've got MDM all over the place. You've got lines of business that span globally. Depending on your M&A history, some of them span regionally. So pick a few targets. Don't boil that ocean. Pick a few targets and make them go. The worst thing with legacy MDM that was ever done was to try to deploy the governance and master data alignment on a boil the ocean basis. So many vendors and customers thought they could go out and do everything all at once, and those projects went on, and many of them never completed. Many of them stalled. So it is a history of the legacy MDM approach, and you don't want to repeat it. Don't go into a situation where history has proven it to be far more difficult and the return on investment far more elusive than a better approach available today. And there's much better ways to do this today without boiling that ocean. 6 good rules for a data dictionary. First, flexible. You need to be able to configure it. Next, lineage. You need to be able to track the history of this data dictionary. You need to bring in user comments and allow sharing. So a user may have a private data dictionary, or they may be one for a group, or they may be shared. You need to support knowledge management tools for heuristics within the data dictionary environment. So many vendors talk about things that never work. They talk about templates or snapping things together. It just doesn't work to use someone else's legacy approach to, data mapping and data governance and try to bring it into your organization. You need the tools to automate it, but you need to make it uniquely yours. And that problem can be solved easily if you have the right tool base. You have to integrate directly with software integration technology and with data quality. There are no separate modules. Some of the big companies are legacy organized. They have a data quality division and a data integration division, and then data services where they have an older form of virtualization. And none of this makes any sense for you, the customer. You need all of this integrated, and you need it applied in the right doses to get your metadata dictionary in process and to get everything put together. If you don't, it just adds so much manual process, so much error, and so much benefit reduction. So you want to connect to the data sources and see them. We have a free download you can check out. Can you look at all your data sources automatically? Can you see all the metadata? Can you compare 2 side by side? Do you have heuristics, things that tell you this maps to this? And do that automatically. And can you navigate in any instance to the underlying data? Can you navigate in any instance to QA and apply those data quality processes against that data source immediately? Can you navigate to an integration environment that brings all that together? That's how you can get your data governance rules to work, because these are the things that affect data integration and data governance on a broad scale. When you start mixing data sources together, it becomes so important. Beyond this, in some systems, you just can't see what the data looks like. And there are many approaches, but we believe in respecting proprietary APIs. They need respect. If we're going into SAP for your system, we have to understand the ways to look inside SAP or to manipulate the data that are respected by SAP and respected by other vendors. If you go directly into people's database tables, unless it's a custom app, you run a risk and a jeopardy of violating security and causing problems. So if there's a proprietary interface, you need to speak to it. This discovery and this access from us is extremely cost effective. And if you're paying your legacy vendor, 50, 100, 200, 300,000, $500,000 for data dictionaries and metadata workbenches, you're wasting your money. There's much better tools out there. One tool that can look at relational, object, XML, and present them in one object framework the same way, not a relational paradigm. That's what you can get out there to help you figure out your data governance. And cloud applications should integrate exactly the same way. So much of what's out there, especially in MDM, has no vague idea about how to address the cloud. And the fact that that happens is because the big vendors, the 2 vendors that own more than half the market for everything you can think of related to data integration or MDM, basically have a separate infrastructure for cloud integration and a separate infrastructure for on-premise integration, and they are not the same, and they are years away from providing a common view. Today, you can get that from us. Cloud, on-premise, a mix of both. It doesn't matter, and the framework that you use, the tool set that you use is identical. So that's a big deal for your data governance team. Integrating this broad world and pulling the pieces together, it's real important. Our application software blades are the pieces that connect, that enable us to understand the sources of data, work with them, and move data in and out. Discovery should flow, into the data dictionary and vice versa. You need to be able to customize it. Business terms and paper are great, but the real metadata is in the computers. So the historical way of dealing with this is you're meeting with people, you're sending emails, you're getting spreadsheets with here's what's inside this source and here's the field name. That is not a good way to do it. It's fraught with error, it's slow, and it's expensive. You can get this stuff automatically exposed and work with it. It's easily navigable. I remember looking in one very big legacy ERP system and seeing street name was Strasse. Well, I knew some German. I had a couple of German relatives in my family tree. But goodness gracious, if you're a data steward and you're trying to implement data governance and you're looking at an important enterprise app and you're seeing languages you don't understand, that's a problem. And those are the kinds of problems that you can solve and work around when you have the right kind of metadata discovery and customization tools. It's going to show you lineage, it's going to show you automation, it's going to be reportable, and it's going to be auditable. I believe, certainly from one IBM mentor I had, a fine company, though we think we can do far better on the integration side today, if you cannot measure it, you cannot improve it, and that pretty much applies anywhere. You've got to define the key performance integration indicators for your data governance plans, and you've got to constantly measure the symptoms and the results. You've got to audit success, crank out your metrics, and constantly see that the situation is improving and stabilizing. Because if you don't, it will move back the other way. Data quality is never stagnant and is always changing over time, and it is a core component of solving data governance and mapping it to the processes and procedures you have. Data quality requires a lot of metrics, whether it's standalone. There's lots of tools to clean things up. You have single source data quality in good systems, multi-source when you're planning on integrating them, understanding the quality, both before and after, and understand that good enough in a single app is not good enough when you're integrating multiple applications. So standalone data quality means one thing to your data governance, but when you're integrating apps, it will create a whole new set of problems you've got to be ready to resolve. So, today, if you said, where's the market going? The market is converging. In 5 years, there will be very few standalone data quality tools. They will be part of, for medium and big-sized companies, master data management or virtual master data management suites. They will be part of BI and data warehousing suites or data services products, and they will be part of data integration tool sets. There will be very simple components, perhaps it's standalone for mailing lists and things like that, but they will cost you pennies on the dollar, and that's not where you want to put your investments. So you want to look at integrated suites that give you all the things you need to address, your data governance, and data quality is a core driving underlying issue. Virtual master data management is a new architecture and a better way to deploy MDM. It tremendously lowers the risk, speeds up the time to return on investment, and it enables you to bridge from anything you're doing today, any tactical integration, to an enterprise vision, whether it's vertically oriented along product lines or it's integrated and oriented along geography. Legacy MDM has been around a while. It's tough to do. There are a lot of smart people that deploy it. It can produce wondrous ROI, usually in under 2 years. The bulk of it is about professional services and customization. And there are first-timer casualties. Sorry, but we all hear the stories. Virtual MDM is business user ready. You can build out with a bunch of business users and not a lot of heavy IT standalone work. IT can partner and work with the business users if they want to deploy it. It's business user ready. It doesn't require programming to get the work done. So it's a very different paradigm for master data management. You get two sets of ROI. The first set is that you're building out master data in a virtual way. You don't need to create a physical set. You just need to know where the elements of truth are that compose your virtual set, and that's what you need to be successful. And the second is that once you start harmonizing data, and actively leveraging this, you get a second set of ROI. You can automate many things because you're not using SQL and you're not using programming, and that's why business users can see benefit here. We're certainly looking for pilots over the next couple of quarters for virtual master data management and see this as a big sea change for everyone. And certainly it is one of the cornerstones of data governance automation in a big enterprise. It's usually wrapped around, MDM. So this is a place for a big enterprise to get some exposure. And so you can automate data quality processes back through the food chain, right to the data steward, to management. You can give them visibility to data lineage, to what's inside the transforms. Traditional ETL, which is the way the bulk of all movement is done in the enterprise for data, is a problem technology. ETL programmers are smart, they're very capable, and we love ETL teams. They're our best, proponents, but this whole workload is manual and intensive and difficult, and with more modern tool sets like virtual MDM or advanced data virtualization, you can really solve this problem at scale and add speed to your data governance initiatives. And you just have to target a domain. It could be one like this, which is customer service globally. It could be vendor management in all of your EMEA or European and Middle Eastern and Africa operations. It could be whatever you want, but pick a domain and get the ROI visible as quickly as you can. And of course, because you can scale up, you can grow the data quality and grow the governance initiatives to a global perspective, see the rules that you use, and manage your effectiveness at implementing data governance and all the things that go with it. That's really important that you can see it all. So in terms of where this takes you, it takes you to one dashboard. Our vision, which we're implementing in pieces right now, but we're driving towards for 2012, is one vision for data governance, one integrated place where you can see across your enterprise adherence to the business rules and policies that you set in place, whether your records of truth, the best data you have, are migrating across your enterprise so you can get maximum business benefit, measurement and assessment of your compliance with data governance to see that the state of your data quality is where it needs to be, to see that all of these things work, to look at lineage, and to be able to do things like compliance and audit when you need to do it. 7 weeks ago, data moved from this data source to these other 4 data sources. We need to see what happened, or we need to reverse these 2,300 records. Those are the kinds of integration capabilities that come with the right data governance framework. Without that, it's all manual, it's all hand-picked, and it's really, untenable without the right set of tools. But that's our vision. We can handle that for cloud, on-premise, all of your different data sets, and make it very easy for non-programming experienced users, for business users, data stewards, and organizational leaders, and high-level business analysts and IT to get the work done. Some excellent references on data governance. I certainly recommend sources like TDAN. IBM also has some very good publications on data governance. Though respectfully submitted, we feel that our tools and technology are more effective and perhaps produce much lower cost for you and greater ROI, but there are many fine professionals at IBM that understand the principles, and they've been well documented there. And of course, tdwi.org, which is a great place for you to see what's happening. Thank you for spending time with us today. Give us a call or email us, sales@queplix.com or marketing@queplix.com, and we'll take a look at your environment and help you chart a path towards implementing and automating your data governance. Have a great day. Bye-bye.